everyone's heard my salvation testimony, but just want to give an update on the wedding and beyond. So, yeah, the wedding went off with a hitch as expected, and it's very different being married before a judge. It's because he tackled it from a legal perspective.
We lost you, Dave. We've lost you.
And you lost me.
Yeah, you froze up there for about 10 seconds.
Okay, am I back?
You're back now.
Okay, good. Yeah, Pastor Colin was there, and he gave a talk there as well, and which was really good, and so put the Lord's seal on the wedding as well. So it was a combined civil and church wedding for both the judge and our pastor. So yeah, so it went really good, and the feedback we got from the wedding was only positive. And one of the things that Rhea had been told by a number of people was that both the judge and the pastor spoke. Everything they said had substance to it, which is unlike any wedding I've been to before, where everything's very shallow, and people like to say nice things, sort of, and about the bride and groom, but everything was just laid out there, warts and all, and the testimony of that really shone through. Anyway, the other thing, the takeaway I got from it as well was that because there was only 3 saints there, essentially a worldly wedding, but everyone had thoroughly enjoyed themselves, and the thing that I noticed was that they did it without a drop of alcohol being consumed. So it goes to show that people in the world can enjoy themselves without alcohol. So which was really great. It's a great testimony there. So the Lord's blessing upon it. Anyway, after the wedding, we'd Red booked 2 condos in Davao City. One for Pastor Colin and the other one for our honeymoon suite, and because Pastor Colin was flying out the next day from Davao City back to Singapore, and a friend of hers was giving us a ride, a lift there as well. So Pastor Colin started witnessing to them on the way, and turns out they're both spirit filled. They go to or Catholic charismatics, but they can see that the Catholic Church is totally pagan, and that. But we had a really good talk with them, and one of the reasons why we chose Davao City for the honeymoon is because I had to renew or extend my visa while I was there, because it was due to run out on the 28th, and so on the Thursday we went to immigration, which turned out was only just down the road from the condo. We didn't know that at the time, and it was walking distance, so I went through the process of getting my visa extended, which didn't take very long. And Rhea at the same time was making inquiries about me getting my, what's called a 13A visa, which is a spouse visa for permanent residency. And it turns out that an old friend of hers works in immigration, and that's his department. So, and before we knew it, we whisked off to see an immigration attorney just down the road, and he said he can fast track it and get my permanent residency before the year's out. So the Lord puts the right people in the right place at the right time, and so that was most of that day taking up. Also looking at having a child, but we have to go through IVF, and so that afternoon we went to see the IVF clinic, and Rhea was going to make an appointment just for a consultation to make inquiries about it. And anyway, next day, Friday, was booked out, and Monday was the first time they get us in there, but we weren't going to be there, so they got us in first thing Friday morning. Well, it's the longest consultation I've ever been to. It went for about 10 hours. Anyway, so they went through process and then Rhea was getting sent off to get scanned and have tests, and I was sent off to see a urologist and had to have a blood test, and ECG and everything to make sure it's safe for me to have an operation last Tuesday to have my part of the procedure done. So, you know, when people say, "Oh, we give people Godspeed," well, everything seems to be moving at lightning speed, and I'm really dizzy trying to keep up with it. But anyway, yeah, so I've had my part of it done. So January next year, Rhea will be getting her part done. So it's been just great, just seeing the Lord's hand on it, and the way He's just really moving things along so quickly. Another thing too is that I needed to open the bank account here, and we went to the bank after we got back from the honeymoon, and we were told that I have to be living in the Philippines for 6 months before I can open an account. But they took down the details and put an application in subject to approval. And last Saturday we got the approval, and yesterday I picked up my account was open. So 2 months, not 6 months, 2 months for me. So yeah, the Lord's really really blessed that as well. So it's indications are the Lord wants me here. So just pray that you know, He puts people in our path. Oh, the other thing too, that when we went back for the my part of the procedure, we had to stay there for 5 days, so we stayed in in a state where Rhea's friends who gave us a lift back from the wedding, they were neighbours, so we got to catch up with them as well. It was actually last Thursday morning, or your Wednesday night. The meeting was cancelled, and all things worked together for good. So a bit of a testimony there as well. Because if the meeting was on, we wouldn't have been out walking when we were, and they were out in their garden having a coffee and invited us in. So it was a great opportunity to water the seed. So yeah, they can see it. Just got to get them to do something about it. We will be back there next year. So living in the same, staying in the same place. So. They're not going to get away very easy. Anyway, so just hope and pray that the fruit comes out of it, and also out of the wedding as well. Let's praise the Lord.